Welcome back, guys, and today we are going to be looking at one of the most highly anticipated console mods in a very long time. That is, of course, the 2017 L400. Now, you may ask yourselves, why are we looking at a Chevy 1500 right now? Well, that is because we are out here on Lime's Mud Park, and that is where we are going to be starting our tests and starting our deep dive into this truck, but we're not going to be spending the entire time in this video out on this map. So keep that in mind. Now let's go ahead and fire this thing up, and we'll go inside the garage and grab the 2017 L400. Now, what's really cool about the 2017 L400, first off, is its price. It's only $36,035 in game, which is a really, really good deal, especially when you compare it to some of the other mods and basically some of the prices that a lot of the other mods command. So the other thing that you guys really, really, really are going to love about this thing is that Limes has really worked hard on making the file size much smaller than usual. This truck, as a whole, this mod, is under 100 megabytes, and it does not require much RAM at all to run. So it's going to be very, very, very friendly to the older consoles in particular. Now, this gameplay is being recorded on an Xbox Series X. However, please do let me know what your experience of this mod has been on your particular console in the comment section down below. So let's go ahead and pick one up. And once we've bought it, you basically start with sort of a blank slate, right? You start with base model of everything, and from there, you can go from the stock engine and default gearbox all the way up to like absolute craziness if you want. Now, I will say though, if you want a really well-tuned experience, actually leave the stock engine and the default gearbox. Now, Limes actually put in a lot of work to make sure the stock engine and default gearbox were a viable option. However, if you want more power, you can go for either the built engine or the bulletproof engine. Now, the built engine is what I would recommend if you're looking for like a good chunk of power, but not necessarily too over the top. Whereas the bulletproof engine, I mean, you're going to be literally flying up the side of a cliff and not really having to worry about it. So that's all down to your personal choice and your personal playstyle. So we're going to go with the built engine for now. Gearbox-wise, we have default, which is actually a really well-tuned transmission. Then you have the fast transmission, heavy tow, and tow. So usually when I use this thing in campaign maps or objective-based mod maps, I usually go with the tow transmission. However, out on a map like this, I would recommend going with the fast transmission, and that's the one that actually seems to do really well in the mud as well. So suspension-wise, the stock one is active, so don't rule out the stock one as an option. Definitely don't rule it out. It's a really good middle ground. Now, there's also the flex tune. The flex tune is going to be great if you want to take this thing down some trails, if you want to take this thing on some rocks. Great setup on the flex tune. The lift is going to be a pretty huge lift. I mean, you can fit massive tires underneath it right now, but keep in mind, all of these are active, so you can actually take this lift even higher once you leave the garage. Then there's the short lift if you would prefer a little bit higher than stock, but not quite as high as the big lift. And then there's also the tow setup, which works best when paired with the dually setup. So for the mud map, we're actually going to go with the big lift. And then tires-wise, you have, again, a really big range to choose from. You have boggers with deep dish fuels. You have BKT tractor tires on beadlocks. You also have these, basically they're Nitto trail grapplers on a set of more street-style deep dish wheels. Then you have these, basically they kind of look like a tire from the Mickey Thompson Baja line on a set of XD wheels. And then you have these Maxxis tires, which are absolutely incredible. And these have some of the highest grip values you can literally possibly run. Now, when it gets into the dually setups, you have a Swamper dually setup. And then when you get all the way through those, you have a bogger dually setup. And really, you can go with whichever one you desire out of those. I mean, they're both really, really good setups. They're both going to get the job done. But for our first adventure with this truck, since we're out here on a mud-based map, we're going to go with the largest BKT tractor tires because I know that's a setup that a lot of you guys want to see how it performs in the mud. Now, winch-wise, you've got one winch. That's the quote-unquote tow strap, but it's basically basically a near unlimited distance offline winch. Frame add-ons wise, you have the gooseneck hitch, which can be used in conjunction with Red's gooseneck trailers if you so desire. And we won't throw that in there right now, but we will later. Now, visuals wise, this is where it gets really interesting. You have the gigantic 45-degree stack, which you absolutely need to try out at least once. You also have a hood stack. You have a single stack, which is basically like just literally like a straight single stack. You have a axle dump, which is actually a really well done axle dump pipe. You also have dual 45-degree stacks and dual straight stacks. Now, for this particular build, we're going with the giant 45-degree stack. I mean, it's a mud truck. Everything can be over the top, so that's what we're going to go with. Fenders wise, we have dually fenders if you do decide to go the dually route. Rock lights. So you have standard rock lights, and you also have blue, green, pink, and red rock lights. These will show up at night. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get the red rock lights. And then steps wise, we have the HDX steps. And grills, you have a Fab Fours grill, you have the stock grill, you also have a Limes grill and an SMG grill, and all of these are basically you can go between the standard ones and the weighted ones if you're going to be doing some heavy towing work. We're going to go with the Limes grill for this build. And as far as the bed itself goes, you actually have the option to put basically a sled deck up on top of it if you really want to. And this is going to be really good for a variety of vehicles, really. And as we have discovered on the live streams, you can fit a lot of the default campaign scouts on this sled deck, which is really, really cool. Now, we move into the headlights. Now, Limes has really upped his game with this truck, and you have the option of going with kind of a standard LED set of headlights, which are kind of like a white beam of light, but you also have blue lights, green lights, pink lights, and red lights. Now, we're going to go with these standard ones on this, but I do want to show you a little bit later on what happens when you change the color of the lights. Now, you guys know what the standard ones look like, so actually, I think we're going to just go ahead and go with the red ones. Now, the red ones are going to be no, you know what? For some contrast, blue ones on a red truck. So you could do the normal red, or you could go all the way down here to the bottom, which, by the way, this thing looks incredible in like a bright orange. It looks absolutely amazing. Now, if you go down here to the bottom, you actually have a few more colors that are a little bit brighter, a little bit deeper than the default color options, especially these lime greens, this red, this orange. We're going to go with the red, but there's no interior customization. But now once we go outside, you can see that the lights have a little bit of a blue tint to them. However, when we go ahead and make it the middle of the night, you can see very clearly that those lights are way brighter than you might think. Now, if you want the brightest lights, I definitely recommend going with the kind of the white LEDs. However, there's something really, really cool about having a red truck with red rock lights and blue headlights. There's something really, really cool to me about that color combination. But we're going to go ahead and bring it back to daytime. And then now we can go back into the garage and swap those lights out for the standard LEDs. So let's grab the normal aftermarket lights and go back outside of the garage. And I'm going to go ahead and make it nighttime one more time so you guys can see how tremendously bright these lights are. You definitely won't be losing your way anytime soon. And if you're using this truck in multiplayer, you can use this truck's lights to light the way for your friends' trucks. It's absolutely incredible. So now, also, you can see those rock lights, which look absolutely incredible. Now let's go ahead and bring it back to afternoon. And now, we're going to head to the mud and see what this thing can do. Now, after we do that, we're also going to switch maps and explore a lot of the different features of this truck in more of a towing environment. So, let's make our way. I'm thinking the swamp is right there. The actual mud pit is right there. So, what I'm going to have to do is actually turn left, go down the road, and then make a right down that really tight, kind of almost one-lane dirt road. Where are you? Are you, let's see. Oh, there it is. There you are. That road can, like, literally just sneak right past you if you're not looking for it. Now, the one thing I will warn you guys about in terms of using the interior view is the fact that the windshield is kind of dark and it's a little tricky to see out of. Just a little bit. God, this isn't even the top engine, but I feel like it's the most balanced with the built engine tune, the 950 horsepower tune, as opposed to the bulletproof tune. The bulletproof tune is fun, don't get me wrong. It's like super over the top, wacky, crazy fun. But the middle of the road tune, the built tune, is so well designed for this truck. So here we are out at the mud pits, and I'm not going to wait any longer. I'm just going to send this thing. Let's go. Look at that. That's in high, and that's not even the max engine tune. That is so wild. Back in the mud. Come on. Dude, it just absolutely devours everything in its path from one mud pit to another. The only thing is you got to make sure that you don't get a little bit too crazy with the side-to-side motion of the suspension. If you do get a little bit too crazy with it, it will flop. It will completely flop over, and that will be that. Now, with that test being said and done, let's go ahead and make our way to a different map now and show you guys some of the other features of this truck. So now we've made our way out to the Stadium Super Truck map, and we're going to explore a little bit more of the towing capabilities of the 2017 L400. So let's go ahead and do a very quick towing build on this thing. We're going to do the built engine with the tow gearbox, and suspension-wise, obviously, it's going to be the tow setup. Now, tires-wise, we're going to go with a dually setup on this thing this time because the dually setup is really well-tuned and really well-matched to the towing suspension. So let's go with the, I'm going to say the 50-inch BB Swampers. Not quite the biggest ones, but just the almost the biggest ones. So we'll do those. And as far as these go, they look really, really good with the, let's see, exhaust. Let's go ahead and we'll do the dump pipe for this one. And the dually fenders, of course. And we'll do just standard rock lights on this one. We'll do steps, absolutely. And we will do the stock grill. Yeah, we'll do the SMG grill on this one. And as far as the lights go, normal aftermarket lights and wheels, we will go with the, probably the standard black wheels that it came with. Well, we can go with the chrome ones. Yeah. It's not going to be too big of a deal. Now, I will say, I think we're going to do a really nice kind of like deep blue on this one. This truck looks really, really good when it's painted blue, and I think it's one of the best looking trucks actually to paint blue in this game. I absolutely love the way it looks. I absolutely cannot get over that. And also, when you go ahead and raise the suspension up, that's when everything starts to make a little bit more sense in terms of the wheels and tires fitting the right way. Although I will say, now that I look at it, I kind of want the largest tire size. Now that I look at it, I'm like, yeah, I kind of want the bigger tires. So let's go back in and grab the bigger tires real quick. Another thing that I really want you guys to be aware of is the fact that if you do not have Red's gooseneck trailer pack enabled, the gooseneck hitch will not appear, okay? So just to go ahead and make sure that you have Red's gooseneck pack downloaded and installed. Otherwise, you will not have a gooseneck hitch or the gooseneck trailers for this truck. So let's go ahead and throw the gooseneck trailer, well, I should say the gooseneck hitch, in the back of the truck now that we have the max tire size as well. And now, like I said before, we're going to go ahead and throw a gooseneck behind it and see what this thing is like in terms of towing. So let's see, there's the long log gooseneck, but we want the 6-unit wide gooseneck. So let's go ahead and back that thing up. And I'm going to move it just a little bit to the side, and we're going to get a few, actually, I know exactly what we're going to throw on the back of that. Oh, this is going to be perfect. This is going to be absolutely brilliant. So let's go ahead and put the ramps down, stop the engine, and we're going to go right back into the garage, and we're going to grab something that should be a really, really, really good test for this truck. It's not going to necessarily be the heaviest thing in the world, but let's see. Well, we could attempt to put the Burley on the back, but I highly doubt it would fit. I definitely highly doubt it would fit. Although, actually, that wouldn't be too bad of a test, would it? Oh, that would be a really interesting one. Yo, that would be a really interesting one. Oh, I'm so curious now. I am so curious now. Oh, boy. Hold on. Can we put something? Oh, well, that's about it. I haven't driven this truck in a long time. So, we're going to go ahead and put you on the trailer and see how the truck responds. I love how this thing is all-wheel drive, always on, and diff lock, always on. It's super convenient. All right, make your way onto the ramps. A little bit of engine scrapage there, but it's fine. Don't worry about it. There you go. All right, shut it down. I don't want to get it too far forward because that way, if I do that, I really will unbalance the truck. So let me go ahead and fire this thing's engine up. Then we're going to pack the truck on the back. And wait a minute. Whoa. Why is it not... Oh my god. Why is it not packable? Oh, that doesn't make any sense. Maybe I'm missing something here, but that should very well be packable. I don't know why it isn't packable, but either way, it should be. I have no idea why it isn't, but this thing is hauling it absolutely no issues at all. Like, literally, it's not even remotely complaining. It's like, are you sure there's even something back there? Like, not only does this thing have all the power in the world, but it has all the freaking torque. I mean, this thing is never at a loss for torque. Literally ever. The only thing I will say is make sure when you go to do some heavy towing with this thing or logging, make sure that you have the weighted grill on, because if you don't, this happens. And that's not exactly what you want to have happen while you're going up a hill, because literally all of the cargo will be lost, you'll end up at the bottom of a cliff, and you'll be very frustrated. But if you guys enjoyed this look at this truck on consoles for the very first time, make sure to let me know your thoughts and opinions on it in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys next time.